Essentially, but more than just fans, they're actually professional developers. And one of the main guys, Christian Whitehead, did the mobile remasters of Sonic CD and Sonic 2 and Sonic 1. And every time we did a remaster, it would be better than the game originally was. He'd be like adding things in and like, I put Tails in here. Hope that's okay. I'd be like, yeah. And so we got to the end of that, and it was just like, instead of always doing remasters, what if we did something that added new content that could be on consoles, you know, that would be a really huge gift for Sonic fans? And they came in and pitched the idea, and now we have this amazing team of indie developers. They're all very good at what they do that are making this game, and we're so thrilled for it.
It really feels like a celebration of Sonic as a character and as a franchise and as a symbol of the 90s and of our culture and everything. It looks fantastic.
So this is like a throwback to the classic Sonic, but what new features did you guys add that weren't in any of them before?
There's a lot of stuff in there. One of the big things that we talked about already is that classic Sonic, in the old games, all right, so we have Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic, right? Tails can fly. You know that because you love Tails, right? Knuckles can glide, and he can like hit a wall and climb up the wall, right?
And punch stuff.
And he can punch stuff. Okay, that was in our trailer.
Yep.
And then
I'm a big fan, I told you.
it was a good trailer, yeah. And then Sonic, though, didn't have anything. Like, he could curl up into a ball, but so could the other characters. We're like, wait a minute, this is kind of imbalanced. Sonic doesn't have any ability. And so Christian and the team said, we have an idea. It's this thing called the drop dash. And if you jump and hold the jump button a second time, when you hit the ground, you'll instantly spin dash. Which is kind of cool because the spin dash, you know, Sonic's in a ball and he curls up and goes really fast, right? And it's that, but it's a little boost of speed. And you wouldn't think that little bitty boost of speed would have that big of an impact on the gameplay, but actually it does. It has a huge impact on the gameplay. And so we think speedrunners are going to have a good time with that.
So are there like levels designed with that in mind where people, the designers as they're making it, they consider like, we think the player should do a drop dash here, then they'll launch
We'll never force you to do it. Never force you to do it. That's the thing about Sonic is, it's a game that is built for anyone to play. Whether you've played Sonic every game over the last 25 years or whether you've not touched it since the 90s, you could play Sonic Mania and go, oh, I remember this. You know, I get this. This feels the same, right? Here's Chemical Plant, actually, that we're showing off now with Knuckles. This is a good example of another thing that we've added and changed. This is a totally new act. This did not exist in Sonic 2. But what you see here are the blue water that was in Sonic 2.
Yeah.
You can turn it into a gel now in our version of Chemical Plant Act 2, and you can bounce on that.
I still have nightmares about drowning in the chemical plant, though.
I've told many people here at E3 that if you need a good alarm clock to wake up to, perhaps the best one is the drowning music from Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's a good call.
You will wake up screaming every morning.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
Yeah, the sound really is really important in this. I mean, it sounds exactly like it used to.
Of course.
Did you guys have to like remaster everything and then like, revamp all the tunes, or did you start fresh?
All right, this is a cool story too. So I've told you already, that a lot of the developers are big fans of Sonic that are now professionals. Christian, Simon, the team at Pagoda West, those are the key main devs. But the musician is much the same. This is a guy that got his start doing fan remixes of Sonic music on YouTube.
Oh, no way.
And now he is developing professionally for the game, making the original soundtrack. And his name is T. Lopes.
Cool.
Yeah, and T is fantastic. He's taken a lot of the original tracks and completely remixed them. He's totally updated them. And then for the new zones that we've got Mirage Saloon, we've got Studiopolis. These are brand new zones that were never seen in a Sonic game or even referenced in most cases. And he's made totally different tracks. And so we're pretty stoked for those. We've put a couple of those on YouTube and given them out to people. Like, listen, the music for Sonic games is almost consistently always really good.
Yeah.
And T has done a phenomenal job living up to that bar and, in my opinion, even surpassing it.
I'm a sucker for great music and games. And Sonic 2 is one of the best gaming soundtracks of all time. So I'm super excited. So this game is, of course, being made for PlayStation 4, current gen consoles, but it still retains. It looks like they're working within the constraints of the old, the Sega Genesis and older consoles. How closely are they trying to stay within those boundaries, or are there areas where they're letting themselves kind of go wild with the new hardware?
It's interesting. This is a good question. They have kind of limited themselves to a certain extent, and the era they're trying not to go past is around that mid to late 90s era, but before the 128-bit. So we're talking like the 32-bit
so like Sonic CD area.
Exactly. Kind of around that point. Like, what might you have seen? The cool thing is that it was roughly that time that audio started getting really interesting in games, and the audio quality started jumping up from the chiptunes that we were used to something really cool, real instruments, right? And as far as the rest of the game is concerned, yeah, the graphics and everything you see, it looks a lot like what you might have seen in the ONES, but there's some other little tweaks and things in there that it's actually a little bit better. One of the artists, his name is Tom, the lead artist. He's updated and gone through with every single sprite you see in the game, whether it's Knuckles like we're seeing here, whether it's the enemies you're seeing floating around.
Wow.
Not only have they updated all of the sprites, but they've also gone in and added frames of animation. So you may not notice it at first, like, oh, Sonic's running, but maybe it looks a little smoother, and that's because they've added frames of animation that at first you take it for granted, right? Oh, it's cool. but it's there. Here's one of the new zones. This is
looks
Mirage
incredible.
Saloon,
Yeah.
playing his Tails here. Brand new zone. There's a wanted poster for Knack the Weasel in the background. He's like a really kind of random, obscure character. The Sonic fans, we all know him and love him.
Yeah.
That's nice. There's all these little Easter eggs because, like you said, if you haven't played it since then, you can jump right in. But for those like hardcore fans like Justin here, I think they're going to be the ones to go, "Oh my God, I saw
I
that."
think those call-outs are for people who are even more hardcore than me.
Yeah.
I've seen folks like Nick Robinson from Polygon is catching all this stuff as you guys are releasing new gameplay footage. He's like, "Wait, that's the Hornet van. Hold on a second." I'm having fun watching him react to a lot of this stuff as it comes out.
Yeah.